Lord, hello everybody. Come on in, come on in. Let's see, come on in. I'm gonna lower it a little bit. We've got Jesus right there, that's great. It's a little, okay, great. Okay everyone, let me lower it a little bit more. All right, we've got some people coming in, all right. Come on in everyone, I'll stand over here. There's the camera. All right. I know I didn't advertise it tonight. I'm sorry about that. There were so many things going on. We didn't post that I would be here, but you know by now that most Thursdays I'll be here. I don't know how long we can do it, but right now it's working. I can do it again next week. And then after that is Thanksgiving, so I will not be doing this on Thanksgiving night. I'll have a week off because I'm going to go to a monastery Monday through Friday of Thanksgiving week to pray and be quiet and turn off my phone for the whole week. So if you have any emergencies or anything like that, don't call me. Call the Chancellor, Monsignor Mike Reed, or my secretary, Jan View. But that's the week of Thanksgiving, so it'll be not this Monday, but the next Monday through Friday. I'll be at St. Benedict Monastery in Covington, Louisiana, just praying for a week. It'll be really good. And I'll celebrate Thanksgiving. I'll have a little Thanksgiving meal with the monks there, so that should be nice. All right. Well, good. It's nice to see that some people are here, even though, again, I didn't advertise this, so thank you for joining me. I am up in Cantonment now, which is one of our northernmost parishes in the diocese, northwest. It's just a little south of Alabama, the Alabama state line. I'm up here at St. Jude Parish, here in the church, having just attended a Knights of Columbus meeting, small meeting with a few of the Knights there tonight, and it's about a 20-25 minute drive back to the house where I live in Pensacola, so I thought I'd do this here before going back tonight. All right, great. So it's been another very full week. We, of course, were very concerned about yet another hurricane or another storm, Ada. Fortunately for us, not so fortunate for the people of Tampa and St. Petersburg Diocese, it went to the south of us and went in, cut into Florida through Tampa. I haven't heard a lot of reports yet. I hope you all are doing well there. I'm sure there's some flooding and some storm surge, but hopefully it's not too bad there. And hopefully, please God, this is the last storm for this very active hurricane season. That's what we're hoping. Thanks for those who knew. It's really not a family conversation or anything, but I had a little procedure this week, or a test. All right, it was a colonoscopy, and it went very well, actually. I don't mind that. I kind of enjoy that. I especially enjoy being put to sleep like that. You know, it's a nice little sleep there, a nice little nap that I took while they checked me out, and found that things were mostly okay. Just found a little thing and took care of it, and anyway, that went well, and so I don't have to do that again for another 5 years. That was this week. That was how I spent my Monday and Tuesday. Okay, great. But in all seriousness, the big news for us was the release of 2 reports for us. First of all, the Florida Attorney General released her report. They have, for the last year and a half, the Attorney General's office has been looking into all of the dioceses of the province of Florida, looking into how we have handled cases of allegations of abuse of clergy, by clergy or church personnel. Not because anyone complained or anything like that, but because this was happening in other states. They were looking into the handling of the dioceses in other states. They decided to do that here. So after a year and a half, they released the report last Friday. And the tragic thing is, whenever you talk about abuse, it is a tragedy. It is a horrific sin. And once again, it just kind of brings that all to mind for us, you know, and especially to the victims of abuse. It triggers a lot of emotions in them, and my heart goes out to them, and we're doing what we can to heal past sins and wounds, to be transparent and to help people to find healing. So the report was released, and I was happy to see what we knew, that the dioceses in Florida are fully cooperating. We as soon as they asked us for any files, we gave them all the files they wanted, and they didn't find anything that we were doing wrong. And especially in the last 20 years, they said that the dioceses of Florida, even before the charter in 2002, back into the late 1980s, were already ahead of the curve, if you will, just kind of trying to reporting to the police and authorities if there was an allegation, and then not moving priests around. But of course, this did happen in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and even into the 90s here and in other parts. And so it brought that to light again, these past sins, and in hopes that we can finally learn from them. And the report did show that we have, and that we are learning from that, and we are getting better. So I was pleased about that. But again, you can't even say that. It's not good to say that you're happy about it, because it's a tragedy, even one case of abuse. And then right along with that, just a few days later, the report on the former Cardinal McCarrick was released. And again, I'm glad that it was released. I'm glad that it was so extensive. It's over 400 pages. But what it reveals is that, again, there were problems that people high up, even as high as our popes, kind of took for granted what their predecessors had done. And because of that, they didn't look in, they didn't reopen cases that were pretty obvious, and examples of complaints and things like that. And so it's again another lesson that we just have to remain vigilant and not take anything for granted, but listen to the victims, listen to people who complain and who make complaints, and take them very seriously, even anonymous ones. That was something in the past they said, well, it's anonymous, we're not even going to look into it. Now, Pope Francis has said, no, even anonymous complaints, you must, as much as possible, investigate and take them very seriously. So there have been very many changes. Both of the reports recognize that, but we can never get tired. We can never tire of being vigilant and doing the right thing, especially because we are clergy, we're bishops, we're priests. We just have to be good and faithful shepherds and atone for our past sins, and pledge to continue to push ahead and go ahead and provide a safe environment, a safe place for children, for all people. It shouldn't even have to be said, but unfortunately we do. Some good news that came out of that is coming out of this week is, possible that we're making headway. We seem to be making headway, some companies, on a possible vaccine for COVID-19. Again, we have to work out the details. We have to go through a lot more trials and all of that. But there seems to be some good news on the horizon, and that is good, I think. That's just good because we're all ready to start coming back, to start meeting in groups, to come back en masse for Mass, and in our churches and other liturgies, and I think that will be a big step toward that. But what we'll need to do, and we're starting to do this now, what we really need to do as a church is now we have to re-catechize people, all of us, about the Mass and the Eucharist. What is it? And why is it so central to our lives? I think a lot of people have come to appreciate it even more in this time of the pandemic. Some people who have not been able to come to church, some people still haven't come since February, since the dispensation was put into place, because they're afraid and they're vulnerable. So they still have not received the Eucharist, some people, since February. And they tell us how they are hungry for it, how they long for it, how they never knew what they had till it was not possible for them to receive. So that's a good thing. But others, frankly, have stayed away, and we're concerned. Will they come back? And do people know that this is what, not just an obligation, this is what we're made for. This is what our hearts hunger and thirst for. So there will be a lot of catechesis about the Mass and the Eucharist. In fact, next week, one of the things we will be talking about as bishops in the United States at our annual meeting will be a proposal from some bishops to to embark on, what do they call it? I wrote this down, a Eucharistic revival project over the next 5 years in parishes and in dioceses and in the Universal Church, to have synods on the Eucharist, to have catechesis, to have 40 hours devotion in parishes, to have more Eucharistic processions and adoration, more congresses, Eucharistic congresses, diocesan-wide, nationally perhaps, and internationally. And that's really exciting. We're going to talk about this effort to really renew our church, renew our diocese, renew our nation, renew our world with the Eucharist and the Mass. So I'm really excited about that. We're going to talk about that next week. I don't know if that's classified, if I should have told you that or not, but I did. And if I'm supposed to be talking about this next week, I need you to give me your thoughts on it. I need the people to speak about this so that I can take this to the body of bishops and say it is the will, or it isn't the will of the people. But I'm guessing it is your will. And so I will represent us well and talk about that, because I really think we need that. We need a revival in our church, in our nation, in our world. And we're not going to do it with any political program or anything like that. It's going to have to be through the Eucharist, through Jesus Christ himself, renewing the church, his bride on earth. So I'm excited about that. I think I'm an optimist, even though we've been through so much this year and continue to be in the midst of this pandemic with numbers that seem to be growing. I honestly believe that this can be and is a time of rebirth, of renaissance for our church, and for the Eucharist, for the Mass, for a renewal for the faith. And it can be if we seize this moment and really set out to evangelize and to catechize ourselves anew. Okay, great. So that's kind of the message of hope that I have in the midst of all this. That's where I have what my thoughts have been. Please pray for us, the bishops who will be meeting, not in Baltimore. We're not traveling this year. We're going to meet online, which should be very interesting and difficult and cumbersome to have 280 of us bishops or more meet online with media, and you all can look in if you want. Hopefully there's information out there somewhere as to how you can also participate and watch along with us. I don't know that it'll be that entertaining, but if you want to be part of like 2 4-hour meetings, come on in. You're welcome. Okay, great. And as I said, I'll be here next week at the same time. Hopefully it'll be a little more lighthearted. I think if I can come up with a story or something like that. I'm excited because Christmas is coming. Believe it or not, it's in a month and a little bit. And so I'll be able to tell that prayer, that poem that I told earlier this year, Annie and Willie's Prayer. I've got that memorized, I hope, so I'll be able to tell that again. Not next week, but after Thanksgiving. So I'll be here next week, and then as I said, the week after that I'll be on retreat in a monastery, so I will not do it on Thanksgiving. But great. Okay, those are the things. Let's see, did I get everything? Hurricane Ada, the colonoscopy, the reports, and the good news, yes, about the Mass and the Eucharist. Pretty much what I wanted to share with you. I'm here tonight with my spouse, Jesus. It's great to be, he's not talking right now, but anyway, sorry. Anyway, okay, good, I'll just end this. If I can show you anything else here, no, I can't. I'm here in this beautiful little church of St. Jude in Cantonment. They're good people here. I always say, whenever I go anywhere, I was here a couple weeks ago, I always say to them, and they know this is my shtick, but in the announcement time or whatever after Mass, I say, this is my favorite parish of all, and they all start clapping. And then I say, full disclosure, I say that every week. And I do. All the 50-some churches in the diocese are my favorite, but I really enjoy coming up here. So, good to be with you tonight. Know that I'm praying for you. Please pray for me. I know you do pray for me, but I always want to throw that in there, because if I've had any success in life, if I've had any good ideas, if I've had any strength in my pastoral zeal or love for you, it's because of the prayers of so many people praying for me and supporting me, and I know that. I feel that every day. I hope you feel my prayers for you as well. And also, please pray for my brothers, all of my brother bishops, as we meet next week to discuss some of the issues of the day. Okay? Let me say a prayer for you and send you off. Oh, good and gracious God, I pray that you bless all of your children, those watching and those who are our friends, our family members, our neighbors, those who are not able to be with us tonight. Bless those who are sick. Bless those who are cut off, those who are alone or isolated. Help them to know that they are not alone. Give us courage and wisdom and strength, and most of all, the assurance that you are with us, so that we may delight in these things and share them with our brothers and sisters. Bless us today, all of your children, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless you. But wait, and before you go, I see Father George. George, can you just... Father George is the pastor of St. Jude and St. Elizabeth, and I love him. I just want him to say hi.
Hello.
Come on in
Hi.
here. He's not shorter. You're not that short. What the heck? Hi. Okay, come on, man. All right. Anyway, Father George Teku.
Teku.
Thank
you, Bishop. Thank you.
That's all. We have nothing else. Anything you want to say? Anything to all the people out there?
Thank you.
All right, great. All right. God bless you. Goodbye. I'm just awkward.